afternoon, everyone, or evening, depending on the time that you hit play for this interview. I'm here with MOBLEY, a shining star from Austin, Texas. He's from the United States, as you know, because Austin, Texas is not here in Argentina, where I'm based. And we're here to review his career, talk a little bit about dreams and how they accomplish, and what's vibration to him, as we asked to everyone what is to vibrate and what is the meaning that they found to that word and what it's that they want to transmit when we call vibration. What's the vibration that they want to transmit to everyone? So, MOBLEY, how are you? Welcome to Vibrar.
Thank you. I'm doing all right.
How's the weather over there in Austin, Texas? Are you located there or are you
Yeah,
elsewhere?
I'm in Austin, Texas right now, and there's actually a thunderstorm happening right now. So the weather is very wet and loud.
Oh, well. Well, my name is Alejandro earlier. We'll be talking to each other through Instagram since you opened it a long time ago. I think I was one of the first people to follow you. It was amazing what you transmitted, what you were doing. And the fact that caught my attention the most was that you said, MOBLEY who? I'm a band. That's great. Why are you a band?
Well, I initially was part of a band. Mobley used to be a group of people. And over the years, life leads you in different directions. People left for various reasons, and it came to the point where there were two of us left, and I had a tour booked, like a month and a half or 2 month long tour, and my drummer at the time, who's the other member of the band, got injured and couldn't come out on the tour. And so I had to decide between canceling the tour or playing it acoustic or figuring out a way to do the full band show by myself. And so I decided to do that, do the full band show by myself. I had been recording the records by myself for a while, playing all the instruments on the record, so that wasn't a problem. And I went out on that tour, and from then on, the reaction of people to the show was very different overnight, and obviously the economics of being a musician really changed, and so from that time on, I've been a band.
Great, nice story. My following question is the next one. I saw that 2 years ago you played in Mexico. That's right. So you haven't been playing only on the States. You've been on tour. You've been around. How was it? How was the crowd in Mexico? How did they receive you?
It was great. I established connections down there because my drummer, the guy who I was just talking about, who had to leave the band because of an injury, is from Monterrey, and so we had gone down a couple times before. We had gone to DF and played there, and yeah, the response in Mexico has always been really good. Crowds in Latin America have a reputation in the rest of the world as being really passionate and enthusiastic and open, and I've definitely found that to be the case. Playing in Mexico, there's definitely I think sometimes in the United States of America, people can kind of take it for granted, take live music for granted, and kind of be too cool and kind of stand with their arms crossed or whatever. And I definitely never had that problem in Mexico.
The other thing that I have in my mind is you have 1.5 million, more than 1.5 million reproductions on your other song that it's Swan.
Swoon, yeah.
How did you come up with that, and what was the impact on the States with that song? I mean, because of the amount of reproductions that it has right now, you know?
Yeah, you know, that song, so that song was the first song I wrote for my last record, which was called Fresh Lives Volume 1. And that song actually picked up in Mexico first. I think it's probably been played more in Mexico than anywhere else. It got put on some playlist in Mexico, and then one day it was 100,000, and then a couple weeks later it was 200,000, and yeah, it was all these streams in Mexico. And I think the support that it got down there really helped, and doing those kind of numbers really helped open doors for me up here, because it's just a reality of the way that the industry works right now. People look at those things and make determinations about booking people and working with people based on those things. So yeah, the support that that song got from people in Mexico was really important. It came at a very important time for me in my career, and I think it helped.
On your songs, you're expressing something that it's yours, but it's also something that reflects something on the people, because otherwise they won't listen to it, right?
Yeah. That's a good question. And it's kind of I think people have different philosophies about how they approach that. For me, the way that I think about it is, I'm a professional musician. I've spent thousands and thousands of hours making music and trying to become a better songwriter and musician and all that. So I have kind of a specialized knowledge, but at the same time, the way that I think about it is I'm just a regular person and I'm not particularly special. So if there's something that I like, there's probably going to be a lot of other people who like it, because again, I'm just a regular person.
Can I show you something, a little video that I have of you, so you can tell me a little bit about it?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, let's go. I will share it with you. This is it.
I'm already singing, whoa. Tell me where you want me to be. Singing, whoa. Will you tell me where you want me to be? Breath chasing breath.
So, tell me a little bit about this concert. That was in LA, right?
Yeah, it was in LA. It was a very strange concert. We were in a rock climbing gym. So like the big, yeah, you can't see it, but all around are the big, rock climbing walls. And we were on the floor in this gym. It's this group called So Far. Do y'all have So Far down there?
We don't, but I'm getting richer on this interview, so afterward.
It's a group that, it's a group that hosts they host concerts in unusual places. So either in people's houses or in warehouses or out in a field somewhere or in an office building. And so this one just happened to be in a rock climbing gym, and I think they expected me to have like an acoustic guitar because they heard I was one person, but I travel with a full show. I have a drum kit and my keyboard and guitars, and I also bring video and lights and a whole thing. So we, yeah. And so we lugged all that into this rock climbing gym and set it up on. It was really weird because the floor is these soft mats because they have to, in case somebody falls or something, everything has to be soft. So like everything's moving on these mats. Yeah. It was a very, very strange show.
5 walls, rough hewn, cats call, blush, swoon, night falls. You're never gonna get my heart.
How it's is collaboration over there in the US? Because here in Argentina, people try to, support each other and be with each other. And during this pandemic and all the things that are happening right now, people are getting like very close to each other, but being away at the same time. So being with the other is being far away from him. How is this going on over there? How are you living it over there in Austin, Texas?
That's a good question. So I historically, in the past, I really have done almost everything on the music creation side by myself. I'm sitting in, this is my living room, but it's also my recording studio. And I typically make all my stuff here, but I think during this time, because like you said, we're forced to be physically separated, I think a lot of us are appreciating more how important it is to be able to connect to other people. And that's definitely true for me. So I have actually collaborated more in the past 3 months than I have in the past 3 years. Like just reaching out to other artists. In April, right after everything locked down here, I did a project called A Home Unfamiliar where I got together. I got together 15 musicians and 15 filmmakers, and there's this game called Exquisite Corpse. I don't know if you've ever played it, but Exquisite Corpse, where you can do it with writing or you can do it with drawing. The one I've done before is drawing. So say we have 5 people, we take a piece of paper and we fold it 5 times, and then I draw on one of the parts of it, and then I fold my part under so you can only just see the edge of it, and then the next person picks up my lines and they draw, and so on, and then you open it up and it's this weird surreal drawing. And I had never heard of that concept being applied to music or filmmaking, so I wanted to do that. So what I did is I wrote a piece of music, and then I sent the last 5 or 10 seconds of it to another musician, and I gave them 2 days to write something, and then I gave my whole piece of music to a filmmaker to make something to go along with it. And then I gave I gave the last 5 or 10 seconds of their whole film to the next filmmaker who made something for the next piece of music. And everybody had 2 days to do this, and we just passed it on down the line. And at the end of the month, we had this 25-30 minute visual album from people just collaborating, but nobody ever saw each other. Nobody ever even talked to each other. Everybody just talked to me and turned in their stuff to me. But we got 30 plus people who probably wouldn't have collaborated with each other under any other circumstances to come together and make this big piece of art. So I think it's kind of weirdly, I think it's kind of a golden age for collaboration, at least in my area.
How did it feel when you saw the final product, your child born, if you want to call it that way?
Yeah, it was Sorry. I'm sorry?
No, what went through your mind? What did you feel? That was the question.
It was I didn't set high expectations for it because I knew it was a kind of an experimental idea, and so I thought, it'll be cool to see whether it's good or bad. It doesn't really matter. It was a fun experiment, and I want to see how it comes out. But as I started getting the films and the music, everybody did such a good job, and it came out so incredibly well that I was really moved, and I wouldn't say I was surprised because I knew everybody was talented, but for everybody, for a whole month, for everybody involved every 2 days to just be perfectly inspired at the right time and come up with the perfect piece, that's you would expect there to at least be a few bad ones in there, but I was just really amazed and impressed with everybody's talents and their skill in coming up with this stuff in no time at all, from scratch at home, and for the filmmakers by themselves with no crew, you know.
Yeah, it was a challenge for everyone.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the artist that you contact for this project? Did you have
some of them were friends. Some of them were kind of more famous, popular artists in the area who I knew normally wouldn't be available, but I knew they'd be available right now, so I figured I'd take a shot. And then the rest were, I put a post online on Instagram and had people reply to that, and they filled out a form, and then I just randomly picked, because I wanted things to be as random as possible. I didn't want it to be like me controlling everything. I wanted to kind of take my hands off it and see what happened, you know. And so it was mostly random. There were a handful of friends in there, but it was mostly just random chance who got picked.
I have this tweet from you that I want to review. I'm sharing it right now. A lot of people are looking for a way to take action and support this pushing for justice right now. Here's an idea. I'll match the first $500 to donate. How did it go afterwards? This is one of your most retweeted and liked tweets.
Yeah, it went really, really well. We ended up raising a little over $10,000 for the Minnesota Freedom Fund and a few other bail networks and mutual aid groups. I posted that and I expected to get, you know, a few responses, but I kept getting people reaching out to me, not only to donate, but also to add matching donations. So they were like, well, if you're going to match 500, I'll match another 500. And then somebody reached out and was like, oh, well, I'll match 1,000, you know, and so on and so on. And in a little over a day, in like 30 hours, we raised almost $11,000, a little bit over $10,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
It went really, really well. Yeah.
And all this politics right now, I don't know if you want to go to that round, because I don't like much talking about politics, but I do want to know, and people here do want to know how it's everything socially over there right now. It's over here, it's a disaster. Even though we're together and we're supporting each other, you can start to see and feel the repercussions of having everything closed. We're in our day 146 of quarantine with people that cannot go to work. So it's really a mess that it's coming up. And I know the situation here in Argentina, but how is it over there? How are they managing it? I don't know if they keep on wearing the masks and if it's something that it's penalized or not right now. So how's it?
Yeah, it's really bad. It's really bad here. I think there's kind of two problems, or at least two groups of problems. You know, on the one hand, we have a political party here that doesn't really believe in, they act like it's not real. They don't want to wear masks. And so in the places where they have control, I live in a place that they control, and it's really bad. Lots of people are dying from the virus, and the infection rate is really bad here. So that's one problem. You know, as you know, the United States is doing almost worse than everybody else in the world containing the virus, and it's because of that. It's because the Republican Party just doesn't want to believe that it's real, and they're handling it so poorly. And that's kind of the disease side. But then, like you said, the economic side is another really serious part of it. Up until last week, or up until this week, people who are unemployed were able to get $600 a week to kind of have some hope of, helping pay for some things. And also there was people weren't allowed to be evicted. They weren't allowed to be kicked out of their apartments. And this week, at the end of this week, those $600 payments are going away, and they're starting to evict people. So, it's really bad. It's very, very bad.
Quick question. With the cost of life, $600 is nothing, right?
No. Yeah, it's very, very little. Sadly, it's for people making minimum wage, it's more than they were making before. But I think they just did a study everywhere in the country. If you make minimum wage, then to rent a 2-bedroom apartment everywhere in the country, you have to work 80 hours a week at minimum wage, which obviously is just it's not possible. So yeah, it's not a lot of money. it's not a lot of money. If I were a kid, if I think back to when I was a child, and if somebody told me there was going to be a disease that spread around the earth, I think what I would have imagined is that like everybody would come together and do whatever we had to save as many lives as possible. Like that's what a child would think you should do. And I think there are people who are showing a good example of that, of caring about other people, of prioritizing other people's health and safety. And for those of us who live in places where the people in power aren't doing that, I think it's really important for us on an individual level and as groups of people on a collective level to provide an example of that, so that people know that they're not alone, and so that people know that there are other people out there in the world who care about them and who have those same priorities. I think children have a very good sense when they're very young, before they get corrupted. Children have a very good sense of like what is fair, what is right, and they care about other people. Like if a kid, you see it all the time, where like a kid will see somebody is sad and the kid starts crying just because that other person is sad, and it makes them sad to see somebody sad. I totally agree. I think it's a shame that so many of us lose that as we get older.
I've been watching myself from the car outside, and so to bring me round, it took me down a long dark ride. That's where I find it at. James Grohl, come and tell me what you know. James Grohl, you're a devil in a daydream.
For everyone watching this, it's MOBLEY. Yeah, it's MOBLEY. He's talking with me, and he's about to play a little bit of something.
All right. I'll play some of my. Okay. I'm gonna play a little bit of my most recent single. It's called Nobody's Favorite. Come dumb, come young, come rain, come sun, come sunken, out and half aware. Just point the magnet at me, man, let's get some money, we can make it fair.
could be the call to change your life. 'Cause you've been on the run since 95. You're nobody's favorite. You're nobody's favorite one. You're nobody's favorite. You're nobody's favorite one. You're nobody's favorite one. Say something cool, say something cool to keep it textual.
The last thing, the same thing that I ask everyone that goes through Vibrar, it's vibrar. Vibrar is to vibrate in Spanish. When I tell you vibrate, what do you feel? What do you picture? And what do you suggest for people to transmit on their vibration, so we can all vibrate on the same level, even though sometimes you vibrate down, sometimes you vibrate very high, sometimes you're in the middle, but the key thing is to flow with everyone, right? So my question to you is, what's your message and what would you suggest to people to transmit on their vibration or to look for in the vibration of others? Because there's sometimes people that absorb your energy and you have to be aware of that as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That's a good question. Obviously, I'm a musician, and so vibration is literally everything for me. Sound is just a pressure wave. That's vibration. I think for me, in terms of the kind of energy that I try to put out and that I look for, I think it comes back to something we were talking about earlier, in that I think it's important to be, this might sound like kind of a weird word, but I think it's very important to be gentle. I think that, I'm a really energetic person. My music is a lot of time is high energy, but the people that I like to be around and the people and the energy that I like to try to put out to other people is one that is very aware of where everybody else is and tries to be aware of what other people need and tries not to step on other people. I think it can be very easy to get absorbed in the things that you are doing and the things that you care about. And if you're not thinking about being gentle and not thinking about caring about other people, it's very easy to accidentally hurt other people, and push them out of the way or climb over them or all those other things. And so I think kind of having that childlike gentleness and concern is really important. And I think if we had more of it, we wouldn't have a lot of the problems that we have in the world.
Yeah, we're 7 billion people in planet Earth. If just one day we all manage to say, okay, let's build this or do this, we will accomplish everything or anything.
Everything. Yeah, totally. Anything.
Great. Man, it's been a real pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Likewise.
This is MOBLEY, who talking to Argentina, Venezuela, Colombia, United States, everyone, Mexico. There's a lot of people that's going to see this, and I'm very, very glad. I'm very flattered that you accept to have this interview.
Thank you very much for having me.
Appreciate
I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for seeing, and we will talk to you and see each other on Vibrar.